Hello everyone and welcome to yet another video by the British Columbia English Campus, a premium institute for learning English located in Amritsar. So in this video today, we'll tackle one of the most important and one of the most challenging topics of the entire of the IELTS exam, and the topic is writing. Now, why is writing challenging? Writing is challenging because of so many parameters which are involved and which you're marked. So in order to score really high in the IELTS section, in the IELTS writing section, you need to master all these parameters and you need to know them in a bit more detail. So that is exactly what we're going to do in this video today. So today we're going to discuss some ways by using which you can score really good band score, specifically for your writing component, which is one of the most challenging of the entire of the IELTS exam. So the first step that you can use is that give a relevant answer to the question being asked. So sometimes what happens is, specifically when we're doing our essays, we do not read the entire question and then we skip on certain aspects or certain points of the essay writing, and that is how we cannot be scoring really high for our coherence and cohesion, which is a major component for marking our IELTS exam. Now, why is the answer relevant to the question? Because you need to be answering what you're being asked, and you should not be deviating away here and there and wondering for what to write instead, because everything is right there in front of you. Specifically when we're doing our writings, we definitely have the entire passage in front of us, because they have very nicely and very articulately they've given the entire structure of the essays right there and then in the question prompt. So it's really important to be reading the question prompt for every type of question that you're being asked, and this does not solely apply for your writings. This can apply for your listening skills, this can apply for your listening component, for your reading component, and for your speaking component as well. So you need to understand the question prompt fairly well. And then the next question is, you have to answer all parts of the question. So practically when we're doing simply when we're doing our writing test, sometimes what happens is that most of us who are really good with their writing skills, we just start writing without reading the entire question. So as I've intimated earlier, it's really important to read the entire question, and make sure to read it a couple of times before you can make out how many paragraphs there are which need to be structured, or what is going to be the logical sequence of ideas and what is also going to be the logical sequence of sentences that you're going to write for your IELTS essay. And therefore, if you're aiming to reach to a band score of 6 or higher, you need to be answering all parts of the question fairly and equally well. And then for your third step, you need to organize your essay logically with clear progression using linking phrases. Now, what are these linking phrases? About the linking phrases, which we here at the IELTS exam, we being the IELTS examiners, we call them the connectors. So I have a separate video for that. If you want to have a look at that, you can always go back to that video and refer to those before going for your test. And you need to be organizing your essay logically. That means an idea should follow another, and they should not be in haphazard manner, that whatever's written at the top should follow whatever you written at the bottom. So there should be a logical progression of ideas. So that is what it means by organizing your essay logically and with clear progression using linking phrases. Now, why do you think we need linking phrases? We need linking phrases in order to boost up our score for a lexical resource as well as for our grammatical range and accuracy, and they definitely help us have a win-win over our coherence and cohesion, which is a major marking criteria when it comes to the IELTS writing. So therefore, if you want to aim for really high band score, your ideas must be expressed as clearly and in an orderly manner as possible, starting with the introduction and moving on to the conclusion. And then you also need to be organizing your essays into paragraphs. Now, how would you know how many paragraphs to write and how to go about doing that? See, For that, you definitely need to be writing an introduction and a conclusion. So that is a given. Now, coming on to the body paragraphs, you should make at least 2 to 3 body paragraphs depending on the question you're being asked. So the question itself would tell you the kind of paragraphs you need to be constructing. For example, the question says you have to discuss its advantages and disadvantages and give your opinion. So there should be an additional third paragraph which should purely constitute of your opinion, and it can start with the I think and I believe. And you can also use the acronym PEAL when writing your essay body paragraphs. Now, what is PEAL? PEAL stands for point, for your example, E for your explanation, and L for your link. Now, I will discuss this in a bit more detail with you right away. So your point is the first sentence of your body paragraph, wherein you introduce the paragraph to the examiner and you put forward your point to the examiner. So, this could be a simple sentence. And then you straight away follow it up with an example. Now, what kind of example do we need to put in? Do we need to give in like data there, or do we need to give like generic examples? So what the examiners are basically looking for are not any mundane details. So they're just basically looking for your sentence structure. So I would recommend putting a general example there and not a very specific one, because that is really uncalled for. Because when the examiners are purely looking for your grammatical range and accuracy, so therefore you just need to put like either a compound or a complex sentence as your example, and put like very generic idea as an example. And then in the third sentence, you have to explain your example or your point in a bit more detail. So for the third point, which is going to be a third sentence of your paragraphs, there is a bit more explanation which is required by your side. And again, depending on how have you written your example, it could either be a compound sentence or a complex sentence. And then for the fourth sentence, which is the most challenging sentence of your body paragraphs, you have to link it to the upcoming paragraph. For example, you're writing the first body paragraph, so it should tell the examiner what you're going to follow up in the body paragraph 2. And if you're writing in the body paragraph 2 linking sentence, it should definitely link itself with the conclusion sentence. And then, of course, you need to use less common vocabulary and spell it correctly. So in order to aim for a really high band score, you should be knowing a lot of antonyms and a lot of synonyms, and definitely a lot of phrasal verbs. Because if you keep on repeating the same thing over and over again, the examiner is bound to get bored at some point of time, and therefore you will lose your scores for your lexical resource. So in order for you to be showing off your lexical resource, you need to be showing off your vocabulary, and you need to be using a less common words while you do your writing specifically. And you also have to make sure that whatever words you're writing, the spellings are accurate and they are correct. So what I recommend doing for my students to be doing is that you write an essay and then you reread it a couple of times, in a better position to be able to make it error-free. And then the sixth step towards aiming for a band 7 or a band 8 IELTS writing is don't use memorized language, phrases or examples. Now, people who work with the IELTS, they're really smart, and there are very less chances that you can disguise them with crammed up sentences. So don't even try that, because, they would make it out, because, you can either cram a couple of sentences or, maybe in the entire paragraph. But at some point of time, you might be writing your own language, or you might be speaking your own language. And then, it would be easier for the examiners to make out whether you've crammed the entire set of things, or whether you're doing it naturally, and whether you're doing it by your own and right there and then. So therefore, don't use memorized example, phrases or examples. So that is why I'm again coming to that example that we need to be putting in our PEAL method while writing our essays. Don't try to put too many facts and figures, because they come out to be crammed to the examiner, something that you've already learned, crammed by heart at school. So do not give any examples which look like they are crammed and they are memorized. And then, of course, the most important aspect of the IELTS writing is using a variety of complex sentence structures. So not only complex sentence structures, you need to be mindful of the fact that, it is the English language test. So you need to show off a wide variety of sentence structures. So you need to be writing simple sentences. You need to be writing compound sentences. You need to be writing complex sentences, and wherever possible, you also might need to be writing interrogative sentences. So, therefore, if you're aiming for a band 7 or higher in your writing, you must write a variety of sentences in your writing. Okay guys, thank you very much for watching today's video. I hope you learned something new from today's video. And if you did, don't forget to like, share and subscribe the channel and smash that like button. And I will see you in my next one. Thank you very much.